Hey there, Ibtihal. So let's take a look at this new set of essays. This is one about spending money on tickets. Let's see what you said. Nowadays, people tend to spend a large amount of their income or savings on social event tickets. While there is some truth to this phenomenon causing concern in terms of financial awareness, I personally believe that this trend has some rather positive psychological effects and potentially causes many financial benefits. This troubled me a little bit. I had to read it a few times. There is some truth to this phenomenon causing some concern. It was just awkward. I'm wondering if maybe you should have rephrased it and said something like, there is some truth, or rather, while it is true that this phenomenon causes some concern in terms of financial awareness. I think that's a more natural way to say this, okay? Because you can see I kind of paused and I had to reread it a few times. Other than that, fine. Let's see what else. Okay, what happened here? You decided to go with 5 paragraphs? All right, that's interesting. As you should know by now, we typically recommend a 4-paragraph structure, so that was an interesting decision that you made here. Let's see why you decided to go that way, okay? The reason for attending cultural or sports events has a different understanding from the fan perspective. There is ample evidence that being able to attend a certain event has a significant psychological impact on both individuals and groups. The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, attending social group activities gives a sense of belonging and forms unity among people who share a common interest and gives them a platform to share and express their feelings. Moreover, socializing as such will transform a mundane connection from behind monitors to a real-life public experience. For example, many gamers and comic book fans attend comic conventions to meet people within the same community and engage in various activities or competition. Furthermore, some fans will be able to meet their favorite celebrities, which is considered priceless to them. Okay. I want to keep moving, all right? Secondly, attending concerts and music shows is one way to show support and dedication. This will not only help artists and performers to thrive in such a competitive industry, it will also develop the entertainment sector, resulting in creating more enjoyable and breathtaking experiences. To illustrate, when Korean music concerts came to what? This is what happened here. I don't know. When Korean music concerts came to be and hit the global market, their success relied heavily on ticket sales, as they would determine the decision to hold future concerts, plural, in some countries. By supporting the sales, the industry is gaining a bigger die-hard audience who in turn will support this genre of music and spread its popularity worldwide. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that being able to connect with people and support the industry which provides life-changing experiences shows the positivity of spending money on entertainment. While some might argue in favor of the negativity of such a spending habit, the financial advantage gained by this habit cannot be overstated. All right, I don't like habit in one sentence. This is largely because the money spent on tickets can be funds that support local athletes and the national sports teams and prepare them to represent their countries in global events. For example, the money gained can be used in building better training facilities, recruiting experienced coaches, which helps small sports clubs evolve and grow. Consistent with the line of thinking, young talented athletes will be well trained and therefore recognized. The more skilled they are, the higher they get paid in their domain. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that the financial benefits achieved from the public's choice to purchase sports certificates is positive and pragmatic. In conclusion, while spending a lot of money on entertainment can be risky if not managed within reason, I firmly believe that this is a positive development. It helps people engage and socialize based on common interests, support industries and artists, and support local sports and athletes. Okay, I wanted to read the whole thing through before I gave you any feedback. I already corrected some of the grammar. There wasn't a lot to correct. So, in terms of grammar and vocabulary, in fact, I thought you did a nice job. It was pretty good, actually. In terms of grammar and vocabulary, there were a lot of nice elements. And you can see I did get through it fairly easily, despite the fact that it's super long. I don't know if you did a word count, but check it out. Your essay here is 499 words. So it's kind of huge, all right? Now, if you wrote it in 40 minutes, then that's okay. But there were a couple of issues as far as I'm concerned with this. First of all, this paragraph and this paragraph dealt very little with this idea of spending a lot of money. You see, you even underlined it, but you didn't really talk about it. You talked about the benefits of attending cultural and sports events, the sense of belonging, etc., etc., etc. So the thing is that nobody was questioning whether there are benefits to attending these events or not. The question that was asked of you is about spending a lot of money on these events, and you did not deal with that issue at all in either of these two paragraphs. Here, not at all, okay? It's like zero. You didn't even mention it as a word. And then somewhere here, you said about spending money on entertainment, but that was really it. And like, yeah, so it's as if you decided not to touch upon this idea of spending a lot of money on these tickets. It was as if you were answering a different question, and the question was something like, describe, to what extent do you agree that attending sports and cultural events is a positive experience? Okay, so that's what you answered. I didn't really see also how can I say this? Yeah, all right, here you talk a little bit about ticket sales, but again, it was very little about spending a lot of money on these tickets. So basically, I would have advised you to get rid of one of these paragraphs. Honestly, like, look at this. Just this paragraph alone was 135 words. So that would have taken you down to 360 something words, which still would have been plenty, really. I mean, it would have been more than enough. And I think you said in your email that you've been spending a long time writing. So this is one way you could have saved yourself some time. I didn't really see anything that really was relevant to the answer here, other than the fact that you talked about tickets, but not about spending a lot of money on them. Okay, here I felt like you did a better job about talking about this money, but again, not the idea of spending a lot of money. So that's what you were supposed to touch upon, and you really didn't. Now, the last thing that I had a problem with was here. You said it can be risky if not managed within reason. Now, I don't know why you decided to talk about this in your conclusion, because you never mentioned it anywhere in your essay. I didn't see anything about that. Okay, you talked about it can be used in building better training systems, etc., but you never talked about what would happen if money isn't managed well. Okay, so it's like all of a sudden you've decided in your conclusion to bring about this new element, and you really shouldn't have done that. Your conclusion should never introduce anything new that you haven't already talked about earlier. So that wasn't such a great decision, okay? And even here you said, while some might argue in favor of the negativity of such a spending habit, you never talked about that negativity. So I don't know why you're mentioning it here as like a linker. The way you used it as like a link between your paragraphs, it's as if we were supposed to understand some sort of negative element of spending money, but you never talked about that. So those two aspects really confused me. And I mean, that's partially coherence and cohesion, that's partially task achievement, but here, like I said, I thought that you should have really just picked the most important, most relevant things in this these two paragraphs, relate it back to this idea of spending a lot of money on tickets, and then you should have just written one paragraph about these. Okay, so we spent quite a bit of time on this essay. Let's go to your next one. All right, so now we've got the restaurant experience. Here's what you wrote. Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing to express my dissatisfaction with the quality of food and service I experienced at your restaurant last Friday. The case is as follows. I went to the newly opened branch of your restaurant on Friday, the 5th of October, to celebrate my friend's birthday. As per the restaurant's policy, I had to book a reservation in advance with upfront payment to ensure smooth and quick service. However, that was not the case. Unfortunately, the staff was unable to locate the reservation. We had to wait for an hour to be seated. That was a major letdown. After we were ushered to our table and given the menu, we were informed that a significant number of the meals were not available for order. You can imagine how stressful it was for me to try and find alternatives, being the one who recommended some of the unavailable dishes. Adding insult to injury, the New York steak we ordered, not have ordered, was extremely undercooked and was returned twice to the kitchen to be cooked a bit more. Sadly, by the end of this fiasco, we had lost all appetite for any more food, which killed the spirit of the celebration altogether. I regret to inform you that the quality of the food and the service in this branch is rather disappointing and could be improved with a little more care and attention. If not, this problem could severely damage the reputation of the entire franchise. I also fully expect a full refund, as neither my nor my friends' meals were edible, and the advance booking did not serve its purpose. I hope you handle this matter seriously. I look forward to your immediate response, SE, regarding this issue. Yours faithfully. Okay, it's lovely. It's very nice. It was very well written. I don't have any complaints about it, except for the fact that, again, it's kind of long. I mean, 287 words is just the text, okay? I think you could, again, if you're able to write all of this in 1 hour, then fantastic, leave it. But if you're having trouble, I think you could have gotten rid of some of this, okay? I think you, I think you could have just consolidated, and I think you could have, just gotten rid of some of this. Like, for example, you didn't need to write after we were rushed to our table and given the menu. So you already said that was a major letdown. Additionally, we were informed that a significant number, okay? And then you don't have to say adding insult to injury. Just, you could have consolidated. You could have left some of this out if you ran out of time. If you didn't run out of time, then it's all lovely. But you need to somehow just pick maybe 3 things that went wrong, all right? Because I think you mentioned a handful. Let's see, you said the reservation was messed up. You said that a lot of the food that you wanted was not there. And then you said that the steak was badly cooked. So 3 things you mentioned. And then you said that we lost appetite for the food. I mean, you could have left one of those out, honestly. I think that the 2 you mentioned were more than enough. And you could have just said that we lost appetite, etc., etc. And then the rest of it is fine. Okay? It's a beautiful job, though. I think you did very nicely. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you need to make some choices about what kind of information you need to include and what kind you don't. You covered all the bullets, so that's important, and I'm glad you did that. But again, if you're running out of time, then you do need to make some choices about what to leave out. All right? Go ahead, correct these, and let's see another set. You're doing very well. Good job.